very good evening and welcome to Try Time KE with me, your host Mohamed Abubakar, a show where we talk all matters rugby. Now we have a lot lined up for you in the next 40 to 45 minutes. We'll be talking the Kenya Cup match day 10 of actions, the two fixtures that were live and free on Bamba Sport at the Lions Den in Ruarak, and of course the other fixtures across the country in match day 10. We'll also be taking a look at the build-up to match day 11 where the teams are standing, and of course the fixtures that will be played this coming weekend. And of course we have to talk about the squad that was given out today that will be heading to Las Vegas and Vancouver. That's the Shujas. Your reactions as well to that squad that has been mentioned by the KRU. Let us know. The hashtag is TryTimeKE. Social media handles will be appearing at the bottom of your screen. You can be part of the conversation during the show, or even after the show. Now, before we kick it off, I'd like to invite my panelists, Benjamin Ayimba and Lavin Asego. Hey, this suit game, man. Strong. Now, I'm feeling intimidated now with my half coat.
No, it's okay, Moa. Stick to your brand. That's Moa half coat.
Moa half coat. But you guys looking good. Lots of good rugby to talk about today, or rather tonight. We'll start off with the two feature games on Bamba Sport. The first one of the day on Saturday was Mwamba's drubbing of Mean Machine, 51-8. Mwamba, you're giving us good airtime here.
I was pleased with this result because Mean Machine is one of those. It's a bogey team for Mwamba. I don't know if it's a Uhuru Highway Derby or what to call it. But one good thing I like about Mwamba, they started quick off the blocks. They were very quick to score the tries, and I'd just like to mention the Mwamba winger, Joe Inzuga. We call him Zing. He's one of the products from Bling's factory, from Laser Hill Academy, because there's quite a number of boys that Coach Kevin Wamboa, aka Bling, has mentored, and now they're playing Kenya Cup rugby. Of course, Daniel Tabu, who we'll talk about a bit later. So it's good to see Mwamba just building the phases. There are a bit of starts that are given to the not so regular players. There was a change at fly half, where Moas was given an opportunity. But I think it's good to see that they still continued with the momentum and shut out Mean Machine. Start of the second half, Mean Machine came a bit stronger. They scored a quick try. But then an immediate reply by Joe Inzuga, diving over for the try, just sealed them off. And one thing I'd like to mention, obviously, you can see Zing diving because it's been a while since he saw grass like that. Because at Reynolds Club, jua imetupiga sana. Imekauka. So, I mean, he stumbled into grass at
this
the
is a good opportunity.
But good win for Mwamba, good win for Coach Bling, headed to a tough fixture away in Nakuru.
Your reactions to the result and the match?
I think really expected because Mwamba have been, game after game now, they've been improving, and having the king Kolo back there and being the leader, he's able to put things, string things together. Judging from what the scores were, there was a lot of composure in the Mwamba team. It wasn't an haphazard game. It was well planned, and I think that's the Mwamba we're going to see into the playoffs as well.
I think, sorry, just to add a bit, a very good inclusion for Mwamba this season is Tony Awar, playing at number 8, because obviously he played last season at Homeboys. He's fought very hard to come back from knee surgery. So it's very good to see him back. It's a welcome inclusion, especially at the base of the scrum, because he's a big ball carrier. He's a very experienced player who's played rugby for the Shujaa on the international scene. So definitely one good inclusion for Mwamba. Now, just a bit of concern for Coach Bling was the halfbacks. Because the number 9s, their passes were not going to hand, at least not in the early phases of the game. And that slowed down a bit of momentum for Mwamba. So definitely this week they'll be working on that passing off the deck, because if you get good go-forward ball, you have just scrum of just sweeping it off the deck. It really gives you good momentum and puts the opposition under pressure.
And very quickly, these points, the margin, umepatia wanafunzi kichapo, lakini it was important that you get a huge margin in terms of the points difference, given the race now.
Exactly, because for the longest time we've been operating on a negative points difference on the table. But now scores like this help us, at least now we're on the positive side, which is always good. Like we've always mentioned, the points difference and the bonus points, they do count eventually as the league progresses. So definitely a big score for Mwamba, and a good score for Bling.
From your view, what has been happening for Mwamba since the turn of the year? Because they've been...
I think what they've just done is compose themselves a little more. You can tell that there's a deliberate method to the game,
Yeah.
so to speak. It's not what we call gora gora. It's not fast rugby.
Yeah.
It's not your let's take this penalty quickly. They'll go to touch, get a good line out, and like Lavin is saying, Antonio Ward has been a very good marshal at the forwards, and he's been able to steady the ship. Horace came in the backs, and that's yes, he might be a bit unfit, but that's a good brain in the centers as well. So that, including Collins Injera's return, has made the team play a lot more composed. So with that kind of composure, you only need to get the ball, and you're going to convert it into points.
How good does it do to the team to have that mixture, the likes of Collins, mix of experience, and the young ones coming through?
You know, people for the longest time kept asking me, why do you still play rugby? And it's for that exact reason.
In fact, I saw you there. Why were you on the sidelines?
No. I mean, it's for that exact reason, because you want a good mix of the experienced players. And one thing Coach Bling loves, which I think is very good, is like giving young talent an opportunity. If you look at that squad, that Mwamba squad, even for the players, for the players who used to play for Mwamba, they come and ask, who is that? But then with this youth and with this young talent, you need just mature players installed in specific positions. If you find, like, for example, Ben just said Horace in the center, alongside Patrick Ruiz, who is a captain, he's very experienced. Then you have Tony at number 8. Then you have another experienced head in the hooker position, which is Salaton Mutiri. So just experienced players in specific roles just help guide the team. So I think it's a good gel. Because as some of us move towards bar rugby, where we sit at the bar and say, in our days, at least the youth system is now coming to fruition, and they're benefiting from this mixture.
Benja, I saw him. But the only thing is, I didn't see him with that flag. You're saying he has a flag? Because
he has one, but now this was an easy game. That's why I didn't see the flag flying out. If it was anything tighter, anything that was, if there was a little bit of contest, the flag would have come out. Because that's where all the what Django's called juogi is in there.
So it was an easy day.
It was a relatively easy day.
All right, let's have a listen to what Coach Kevin and Ramsfield had to say after that game.
Mwamba have actually overwhelmed us on the scrimmaging, on the ruck side, and also they were much faster on us. That the thing actually they've taken us to the points. It was just about mental stability. Actually, they are just dipping in, and the communication also on the pitch was not that much. Fact, actually coming into the second half, that's the reason why they started talking out, and we were working best.
Well, as a coach, you cannot ask for more. I mean, 4 tries in the first half, another 4 tries in the second half. That's what what a coach really wants. I'm just happy the boys were able to settle early this week. As compared to last week, we built on some consistency and some momentum. So for me, that's good. Now we have to reset again and start again next week. We always know it's going to be tough between number 4 to number 7. So for us, we're just happy now. We don't have a negative point. That was our main goal, to rack up as many points as we can. And I'm just happy the boys were able to put 50 points up against Mean Machine. We've shown good consistency the last 2 weekends, and I hope the boys can build up on that as we proceed to Nakuru next week.
All right, Lavin, can Mwamba continue with this strong run, because they have tough fixtures up ahead?
I think it was good to get maximum points out of the quote-unquote easy fixtures. And I just say easy because these are teams that are below Mwamba on the log. We've been able to pick 5 points consistently throughout up until this particular game. Because, like you've mentioned, we have tougher fixtures coming up. Now, Coach Bling has talked about turning the negative points difference into a positive, which is something that's really good. Now, the only concern that I have for Mwamba is they need to work a bit more tackling and stopping the go-forward ball. Because the Mean Machine number 8, I think it's called Shadon, he really had good go-forward ball, and he put Mwamba under a bit of pressure. Knowing Nakuru, who is our next opponent, that's the order of the day, because they have big ball carriers who will keep running throughout the 80 minutes. So I think they need to work a bit more, tackling, just be in front of the gain line, just to stop that go-forward ball, and maybe compete for the ball on the deck just to stop momentum. But like he's mentioned, it's a good place for Mwamba to be, at least good momentum building towards the tougher fixtures coming up ahead.
Benjamin?
Yeah, good buffer for Mwamba now, with now going into positive points difference. And in terms of the bonus points, like Lavin has mentioned, those are good to buffer. If anything, if there's a slip up in the next few games that they've got to play pre the playoffs, then they're much more they're in a much more safer place. But I think right now Mwamba is one of the teams that I'll be very shocked if they lose even against Nakuru, because I think they've gotten the momentum.
Momentum is key. Yeah?
Yes, and now the guys are more confident. I don't know how they'll work with the Nakuru scrum, because Nakuru scrum is not as heavy but a bit agile, and Mwamba's scrum has not been a functional scrummaging scrum. They do very well in the lineouts. Off the set piece, they play very well. Yeah. The scrummaging is where the problem has been. If they can take care of Nakuru in the scrummaging, they should be able to have that game easy.
So they really have to approach this game strategically, yeah?
Very strategically. Nakuru is a very experienced side.
All right, we'll be talking about the upcoming fixtures in a little bit. But the second match that was live on Bamba Sport, KCB against Impala. Now, this one was a tight affair up until the hour mark when points started coming in, flying in. 25-3, KCB taking it. No bonus point in this one, but they take the win.
To be honest, going into this game, I expected a more dominant performance from KCB. But then I was quickly reminded that Impala is one of the few teams that really give KCB quite a bit of trouble.
It's a bogey team.
Yeah, it's a bogey team. Pretty much so up until the halftime, it was 0-0.
Yeah.
Now, I attribute this to very good defense by Impala. They were put under very massive pressure. One interesting thing that Impala elected to use was the chop tackle. Now, for the viewers at home, the chop tackle is where you tackle the man, but you don't allow him to go down on the deck. Okay. So you hold him up, force a maul, and it's a turnover ball. So that's one of the things they used very, very well, the chop tackle. And you find that there was 2 or 3 tries that they stopped by purely using the chop tackle. When Oliver Mangeni had the line out in the 22, because they normally throw the 6 ball, then Oliver peels at the back and attacks the number 10. Yeah. They stopped that. But now the flip side of the chop tackle is you use a lot of energy to hold the man up. So I mean it's a catch-22. It's very good if you can implement it well, but you can't do it consistently throughout the game. Now the turning point for this game, I believe, is where Impala had the opportunity to take the 3 points, but they chose to quickly scratch the ball. They ran the ball on the outside, it was turned over, and KCB scored on the other side. 7 points. That's where the game turned.
Benjamin.
Yeah, winning can be lethargic. Winning can be lethargic. And if you don't have any hiccups in between and you keep collecting points week in, week out, it gets to a point where you actually feel that you can do it without much of an effort. And KCB is getting into that realm now. Yeah, and if you consistently win and there's very little opposition coming through, usually it is difficult to want to raise your game. This is a sort of game that maybe gave them a jitter, a bit of warning, to know that now they've got to really raise the game. In other cases you lose, but this one they managed to put 3 tries across only after not scoring anything in the halfway mark. So I think it is a wake-up point for them to really improve how they want to play from now onto the finals, because onto the semi-finals, because they've got a clear buy up in at the top of the log.
You can almost say the scoreline does not reflect how the game was actually played. The intensity.
Yeah, it does not, because on the day, all credit to Impala. Impala did their homework very well. They know the threat that Oliver Mangeni has in the lineout. So what the Impala forwards were doing, they were quickly setting up the lineout before KCB reach. And you see, the ref, once you've formed the line, you're the mark, you're good to go. So they were playing that 4-ball quickly off the top. That negated the KCB lineout. Contesting. So there was no contesting. Yeah, so there was no contest. So they were quickly playing it off the top, and this worked really well for them. Now, for KCB, and I talked to Coach Curtis a bit later, and he assured me that midweek will be very heavy, because his major concern was that Impala was getting good go-forward ball, meaning their first line of defense was not as effective as he expects of them. Now, the other thing about Impala that I had a chat with Oliech about, I told Oliech, and he's a friend of mine, Samuel Oliech, I just told him, passes for Super Rugby, leave for Super Rugby. Because there was a few instances where he could have, he could have just given an easy pass on the outside, Mayaros on the outside just to dive over the try, but he chose to dummy, which the dummy wasn't on. It was a quick turnover. And KCB had the ball. Another instance, he tried the fancy pass off the back. It's brilliant if it works. It's for TV. It's
What is with these crazy people? We had the same incident happening in our game.
It's the hype, the quick, the pass, the crowd cheer.
Looking good, yeah.
But if it doesn't work, it looks really
Not
bad.
giving you points.
Yeah, it's not giving you points. So I mean, those are some of the
Yeah.
things that they'll work on going into their other fixtures. Yeah.
Perhaps what are some of the things that you feel KCB have managed to see here, like in terms of weaknesses?
I think that fast on defense. And knowing Curtis will definitely work on it this week, going into the Cabras game, because Cabras is the sort of people that if you slacken in that first line of defense, then you're in trouble, because you'll always be defending behind yourselves. So you have to turn back and chase. So that is what they need to work on. If Impala are able to go forward with fewer line breakers as they have, then it's going to be difficult in the future for them. So I'm sure that first line of defense is going to be a big concern to them this week.
Fantastic. Let's have a quick listen to the coaches after that particular match.
I think the KCB they used their reserves, and that was a strong point. When we had the possession first half, we didn't really get the points we needed to, and normally it's about the first quarter and the last quarter. KCB dominated the last quarter. We had the possession, but they were clinical in the execution. KCB were disciplined for once, credit to them, so we didn't get any penalties to attack the post. And we lost balls sometimes a bit out of carelessness. Our ball detention is a bit weak, so that's something we really have to work on. We must be strong starting and finishing. The first quarter, the last quarter, at least we sorted out our first quarter, which is a big problem in earlier games. Now we must work on the last quarter.
We lost our heads somewhere in the first half. In the second half, we just had to calm down a bit more and play our structures and do what we do, because we never take quick taps. You know, we took like 2 or 3 quick taps. I mean, I was shocked. You know, we just lost our heads a bit in the first half, but after good talking from the backs coach and the forwards coach, I mean, we got something right out there. Yeah, I get sweaty when you can think I was playing the game myself. Yeah, we had to calm down. We just had to calm down. Those nerves, you know. There's something we wanted to do in this game. Yeah, that we are going to pick up going into the other coming games. We've seen it. We've seen where the faults are. We are coming back on Tuesday to work on it. Win is a win. Once you play well, you win. The scoreboard will take care of itself once you're playing well. Yeah, I think it showed bonus point, not as much, but we thank God for the win. The bonus is just a bonus, like it's called, but we thank God for the win.
All right, I'd like us to react to 2 things. Coach saying that a bonus is a bonus.
Yeah, you win
like
ugly. With championships, you win ugly. There's no problem, and that is what it needs. It just needs to tip over, and stay at the position he is. He doesn't want to lose any points.
So at this moment, it's not about him even finishing top.
It's not necessary. It's not necessary.
They can finish top 2, just get the semis.
Yeah, because the one and 2 guarantees you a semi-final at home. I don't know how this is going to be done though. If you've got to do the semi-finals in one spot.
Yeah.
With TV now,
we'll have to talk to.
Somebody will lose his right to do so, but it gives you an upper hand anyway, and it gives you a rest weekend when the other guys are sorting themselves out at the bottom.
But then again, it's big because the final also, if you finish top, the final is at your home ground.
Yeah.
So they really want that, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
But just like the Cabras coach said last week, he came to Nairobi, got a win. It wasn't a bonus point win. So they are alive to the fact that there's tougher fixtures coming up. So it's not necessarily that you demand a bonus point from your team. Just get the boys to win, especially in a game like this where Impala came to play and it was 0-0 at halftime. I'm sure you'll be very happy with the result at the end.
And then, again, that bonus point does not count if you can't win Kenya Cup. Because nobody writes in the history books that during that year that they didn't win, they racked in the most bonus points.
It's just that
it's a means to an end. Yeah.
One of the things that Coach Curtis has mentioned that I picked up on is he said we don't take quick taps, and it was characteristic of what KCB was doing throughout the afternoon. They were making decisions that watching them play over time, it's so uncharacteristic of them, because when you get a penalty, if it's not a set move for the forwards, you go to the line out. But they were drawn into the quick play for Impala, And that's why there's those very, very, very uncharacteristic knock-ons from key players.
Because they don't understand the game in that way.
Yeah, you don't play it. They're sort of dragged into what Impala were doing as opposed to maintaining their game plan. Just taking it easy, know that you have a dominant set piece, trusting your set piece to get you over the line. Yeah.
Coach Frank, he says the most important moments in a rugby match is the first quarter and the last quarter.
Everything in a rugby match is important, my man.
Everything.
If you look at, for example, the games that guys win with big margins, you got to start in the beginning, carry all that on to the halfway mark in the first few minutes of the second half. You got to convert into points. Otherwise, then you get into trouble. If you watched Impala Harlequins, the first match they played at home to Impala, Harlequins had so much pressure piled onto Impala up to the 30th minute. Then they let off the gas a little, and in the second half, they only raised the game just a little. And Impala, from the third, fourth minutes on the second half, raised the game. And you saw how the game almost it ended up like a very competitive game, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
So every single minute in that pitch, and if you want to understand that best, ask Blackblood, because they kicked over that winning 3 points when the time was done. Just the ball was in place, so you can't kill it. So, and he did it so haphazardly, and he knows the reason why the last second is not, unless the whistle goes. It's not the last second.
Just a quick, and this is not a sponsored comment, but I'd like to highlight one player for Impala who has impressed me over the years.
Yes.
Makori. He plays in the second row for Impala.
Yes.
This is a player who he turns up, plays for the Sevens. You're like, how is he playing for the Sevens? Because he's a big forward, and he's one of the players who's played for Impala for the longest time,
Very
and
skillful
he's
too.
very reliable.
Yes.
He does what he needs to do, nothing fancy.
Nothing
You
fancy,
will not see him on interviews, on social media, but he just does his work, completely.
Consistently,
So ile maji makori unakunywa, just keep doing it. Just keep doing your job because you're contributing to the betterment of the team.
He's one of the pillars Impala has now, one of the senior players, and he's gone through a few generations of Impala, so he understands the culture of the club, and always stands up to the game. And when he's put into play, he plays very well.
Yep.
All right. Fantastic. Other results across the country. Benjamin.
Why are you smiling sheepishly?
All right. You know why.
Moha.
I like us to focus.
You are here to express your neutral, your
non-partisan
views.
Yes.
Let me smile sheepishly because you're about to ask me about the KU game.
Let me start reading. Let me just do my duty.
Yeah, please do your duty. Put
Blackblood 16.
Yes.
Queens 15.
Yes.
That's one of the results we want to focus on.
Yes.
And of course, the Mafuta Derby.
Yeah.
Oilers,
That's
Nakuru.
the one Lavin got the Nini right.
Yes.
The prediction right.
Went with Nakuru.
Yes.
And
No.
I went to Nakuru. And the reason I did is because I believe Oilers are a very good side. But just like the scores predicted, it was Oilers were leading for the most part of the game until I think the second half of the second half, the last quarter. That's when Nakuru turned up the heat. And I based that purely on experience.
Yes.
And just one thing I like to highlight, I saw my good friend Oscar Uma back in the fray.
Yes.
After a long...
It's been for the last two games.
Yeah, self-imposed hiatus. Just my word of advice, if you choose to come back to a game after a long extended Christmas holiday, the Oilers is the worst game to come against because those boys can run. And I saw 1 or 2 instances where Oscar Uma, he was left for dead. It was uncharacteristic. But once he hits his top fitness, he will be very little addition for Nakuru.
All right, the next one, Blackblood Harlequins. I remember texting you, Coach.
Yeah, this was a very interesting game.
Yeah.
Reasons being, Harlequins didn't come to the party, and it was a bit annoying as a coach to see that guys just didn't want to play.
Yeah.
We turned up, making a lot of mistakes, missed passes, missing tackles. And the good thing about KU is that they piled on pressure. You know, with our dominant scrummaging, they still tackled us before the gain line, were going in for the ball, and KU played extremely well, not to take away from them. Having said that, I think, of course, giving our guys who've not been playing as many games as possible, because in a setup, in a team setup, you don't just if you're gunning for the playoffs, you must have a full 23 guys who are fit to play. And giving your guys a chance to play, whatever time the chance arises, is good. So we made that decision.
Yeah.
It worked against us by losing that game. But it is, for me, it is a good learning curve because it just means now we know who not to play where.
All right.
Yes.
And you're not worried in terms of, second successive loss? You wanted to come back?
Never worried about that, provided we are still
in the mix.
In the mix,
Yeah.
because like I was explaining off air sometime, the time Cabras won the tournament, won the league, is when they only sneaked into the last game of the preliminary games.
Yeah.
That's the time they won.
Totally different ball game now once you get into the playoffs.
Yes, it's totally different. And the bounce of the ball on the day determines who wins the game. And I know we have the capability of turning up the fire. So it is disappointing because we are proud as a team, but not worrying. Yes.
Very well said there. Sportsman like Kabisa, coach.
It must be.
Yeah.
It must be.
Kabisa.
I know. I turn out as arrogant sometimes. Like, I've got a bit of sense too.
The other results, Lavin, your reaction. Straightforward wins there. Not shocked. Nondies beating Strathmore. Cabras, Homeboys.
Yeah, I expected the Nondies win over Strathmore because Nondies, they've been on a good run so far. And obviously, I'm sure they were keeping tabs on what was happening along Thika Road. So for them, it was just about winning their game, and for them to have won with I think they won with is it a bonus? I'm not sure. But it's
I think they got a bonus.
Nondies.
It was a bonus actually.
So it's good for them. All credit to Foxy. Worrying times for Leos, but the margin was close. It was always going to be a scrap. Now for the Cabras Homeboys one, because I was following it online.
It was 24 all at halftime.
It was 24 all at some point, and I thought maybe this could be the slippery slope for Cabras, as Homeboys could travel away and get that massive win.
It was actually, because for the longest time, Homeboys have been the team that gave Cabras the nightmares.
Yes.
What happened was on the 55th minute, they started making changes.
Yes.
And the changes they made were the guys who've not been training with the club consistently.
Really?
That the guys who've been playing, who've been out with the sevens. So that's what messed up the science.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on 20 minutes into the game, 20 minutes to the end of the game, they actually had it until they started making those changes. And what happened was, Cabras actually capitalized on those guys because they're nowhere towards they are nowhere in place to play the way the Homeboys have been playing in the season. So that was a grave mistake, I think.
All right. Now, gentlemen, we're done reviewing the results for last weekend. We'll be taking a short break. And when we come back, we'll be taking a look at the table and, of course, the upcoming fixtures. And before we finish the show, we have to talk about the squad that's heading to Las Vegas and Vancouver.
The drums of war have been sounded. 20 teams are out to fight for ultimate glory.
Right foot, wonderful try!
It's the National Super League, Kenya's rising stars, chasing promotion to the Premier League.
Absolute stunner!
Witness every cut, every shot. Live and exclusively on Bamba Sport, Bamba TV Channel 6. The drums of war have been sounded. 20 teams are out to fight for ultimate glory.
Right foot, wonderful try!
It's the National Super League, Kenya's rising stars, chasing promotion to the Premier League.
Absolute stunner!
Witness every cut, every shot. Live and exclusively on Bamba Sport, Bamba TV Channel 6.
All right, welcome back to Try Time KE with me, host Mohamed Abubakar. We've been talking match day 10 of results in the Kenya Cup. We'd like to take a look what those results mean for the table before we diverge into the next or rather upcoming fixtures, match day 11. This is how things look like, gentlemen. I think the biggest movement up there is Nondi's going above Harlequins.
That's 33 points. Is that 33?
Yeah, 33.
33.
Impala, 7th. Homeboys have been on a slow incline here.
Yes.
Climb, yeah.
Because also, you remember when you said in the beginning of the season, this is now how it shapes up. Teams that are more experienced start to show their mettle at this time. There's a big struggle still. You see, even Nakuru at 23, and then Impala at 25, right? And then Homeboys at 26. They're still very fluid positions.
Yes.
Yeah. We've tied with Mob at 32, right?
Yeah. Is it safe to say like 3rd to 5th is almost safe, or too early to say?
No,
it's too early to say.
It is too early to say.
It's too early to say.
Because 6 points, what 6 points means?
2 losses and 2 wins.
If a guy draws and loses between Harlequins and Mwamba, or even Nondis, then that could change. Homeboys could Impala could be 3rd easily.
Yeah.
If they're consistent in the wins.
Yeah.
So it's still very fluid. Actually, right from 3 all the way to 7.
Nondi's points difference is not doing them any favor as well.
Yes, that is where the problem is. And you see, one point adrift at 1 point between them and the number 4 and 5 doesn't really help them with that kind of point difference. See, Mwamba standing up to 37.
So you mean to tell me, if you get 3rd place, you won't be happier because you get to face number 6, or it doesn't really matter?
Really, here it won't matter, because if you look at the possible number 6s here,
they're strong sides.
Strong sides.
Actually, everyone from number 3 to number 7 can be a number 6.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're
unless your Kenya Cup's been this open.
Unless your Cabras, no, it's never been. This is the toughest it's been.
Yeah, it's very tough, and
it's good.
It's very good because
it's very exciting.
It's not a given. You have to battle it out towards the end, and you can see Homeboys. They've benefited a lot from some of the injured players coming back in. Remember, towards the early of the season, they missed quite a number of players to the 7s and to injury.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that Steve Otieno played away in Cabras, and also Polycarp is back for them. So that's a definitely good addition.
And if they can get Chisanga to play as well, it will be a very, very good addition. And worrying to us too.
Yes. All right, let's have a look at the upcoming fixtures real quick. We have the 2 feature games this coming weekend. Impala against Homeboys. Now that's a cracker as well.
Yeah, that's a cracker.
Definitely.
And the match awaited, KCB against Cabras.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope it leads to its billing.
I hope so too.
Having seen,
so too.
Having seen, there'll be a lot of pride at stake, especially for that second fixture. But having seen what KCB did against Impala, Cabras would have an upper hand in that. But this is a cracker. It's so much a cracker that the Harlequins Strathmore game has been pushed to Sunday. Yes.
Wow. So you guys will be with us.
Yes, we'll be there. Yes.
Let me tell you something about the KCB versus Cabras game. I think because when I watched Cabras play against Kenya Harlequins, one of the things they did in the lineout is they didn't contest the lineout, and they were chopping. As in, once the ball comes down, they nullify them all.
Yes.
And seeing that KCB have a very good set piece in the lineout, they have the good 2 ball, they have a good 4 and good 6 ball. They will also use the same tactic. They will not contest the lineout, at least.
So the lineout setup will not be important.
Yes, the lineout setup will not be important, because you saw against Impala, once KCB set up the maul, they pushed it very well. They are very disciplined in the ball. So Cabras, knowing that they're not the strongest in the lineout, I mean, we saw what Max was throwing the other day.
Max threw nothing.
Yeah, the thing he was throwing is throwing tantrums, because throwing lineouts is not good for him. So to make them work, to make it work for them, they should also do what Impala was doing. Just quick setup, throw it, and get it moving. Because once you set, and Impala and KCB set, it's a contest in the lineout, and at this point, as we are speaking today, KCB have a better set piece in the line out than Cabras.
Yes.
Maybe they'll do something.
Cabras, in fact, in the line out game, I think they're the worst in the Kenya Cup. Throwing ball, they can't win their own ball. They actually cannot win their own ball.
And I remember we talked about this last week.
Yes.
I wanted to say this 2 match day live Bamba Sport. We managed to find out the weaknesses that Cabras have and the weaknesses that KCB have. So it's setting up really well.
It's really
extremely. What would be very interesting is the scrummaging. They're both very, very good at scrummaging.
Very strong scrummaging.
And it will be very interesting to see how each of them try to outwit the other in the scrummaging. Knowing Cabras with the flyers they've got, with Tanga at scrum half, and having Wokorach coming from number 15, it will be very interesting to see how they combine with the center formation that KCB has.
Yes.
Because if KCB aren't careful, their midfield is going to be visited quite a few times.
Yes.
And they're not very good tacklers in the midfield.
All right. Now, these 2 games being the feature games this coming weekend, we tried to find all 4 coaches so that we could talk to them prior to this game. For Cabras, it was a little bit difficult because they're not yet in town, I believe. So we managed to speak to, we spoke to Curtis Olago earlier this week. Have a listen to what he had to say going into this game. It's very important. It's the game of the season. How are you approaching this game against Cabras?
Saying we beat Cabras last year, again, history is a liar. This is a new year. They have a new coach. They are playing differently. I mean, that is... I always will say, let Cabras worry about Cabras. KCB will worry about KCB. But on the day, we'll look each other in the eye square and ask each other questions. Yeah.
Okay, apart from facing each other on the field, what's your assessment of their season so far? The new coach, the new players that were brought in, and their season so far as well?
Good. We know that they're scoring much more now. They're scoring much more. The defensive shape has improved. We are aware, and we are working on it. Yeah.
All right. Anything you'd like to add going into this game?
A game at a time.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Huh? Very energetic.
Extremely. And animated as well. He's very passionate about the game. Very passionate about what he does. And for some reason, the team feeds off that energy of his. And he's been able to...
You could tell he was very wary.
Yes.
In terms of speaking too much about that game.
Yes,
he just wants to focus on Saturday.
History is a liar, Moha.
History is a liar.
History is a liar. That's my new favorite line. Why didn't you call me? History is a liar. Don't focus on that. But one thing that KCB will need to do on the day, I know they have really good back rows in Andrew Amonde, they have Waitere, and they could have Davis Chenge. I'm not sure who they'll play on the back row as well.
They might play Davis at
what's your assessment of his performance this past week, Davis? Do you think he's ready for Cabras' side?
In terms of like his level of fitness and what I've seen him play, especially with the national team, there's still, I think he's at 80% as per the Impala game.
Okay.
So obviously coming back from injury, that's expected. But they'll need him operating at 100% for this next game.
Or even 110.
Yes, because there'll be big ball carriers coming through down those channels, and they'll need to be met with equally ferocious tackles. Because I'm sure Andrew Amonde never shies away from such confrontations. But I think they should be smart about it.
Yeah.
As opposed to running straight into a wall, just try and evade the wall. Make the wall follow you. Because you have a much faster rack, you have a good go-forward ball. Let it not be an arm wrestle. You're big, you can carry the ball, but be smart about it because you expend less energy.
You can only get more yards from avoiding that tackle as opposed to running into it.
Yes.
Stepping a little. And I think Andrew has matured into that kind of player.
Yes, he has.
He looks for the gaps as opposed to, and of course growing older. You don't want to bash with these young guys who live in the gym. So you want to be a bit more skillful in how you approach the contact point. And I think with a guy like Andrew there, hoping that he's going to take the leadership mantle as he always has, they should be able to have an upper hand in that.
All right. Now for the Impala Homeboys game, we managed to speak with Coach Frank and Simon as well this week. Take a listen.
It's going to be hard again like last weekend. Homeboys have some of the strongest forwards in the region. They'll come hard, they come direct. We must warm our shoulders appropriately for this weekend's fixtures. Yes, we've got a couple of injuries to be confirmed this week, so we can't really judge them. Quinton Ongo was injured. He's resting out. We'll see if he'll be fit on Thursday to run on over the weekend, and a few other guys as well. If one team if Homeboys win this weekend, then we'll be in a very difficult position. So we're going to throw everything at them this weekend.
We're on an incline right now. We started a bit slow because at that time we had players who gone to Dubai. A few of our players are involved with the national team, so we don't have a consistent squad per se, and of course the injuries as well. But as I said, the incline is positive and evident against Cabras, so it just keep building from there. From Cabras we lost Shikoli, that's an MCL tear, and John Daniel got a fracture, so those two are definitely out for the season. The only guys who are coming back is Steve Otieno, Polycarp Odhiambo. Yeah, those are the only guys who are back. I think most of the guys are involved with the Kenya Sevens at the moment. It's going to be a very tough match. Impala are a very good opponent on paper and on the field. I think it's going to be a very, very lively contest, and it's in front of the fans as well. So I think they also started slowly this season, so they have a lot to prove. So it's definitely going to be a good match.
Definitely expecting a cracker of a game here. But we'd like to talk about the team news.
Yes.
And I'd like to include one player, Josh Chisanga,
yes.
who did not play last week.
Last weekend, because
last
technicalities are being released from his club.
Exactly.
Yes.
So let's just talk about him and, of course, the teams that will be, the players that will be missing and those that are coming back.
Yes.
In terms of now this game, you feel this is equally a big and important game for both teams?
Definitely. If you look at the log, I think it's 6th place, 7th.
Yeah.
And knowing that the Homeboys, they've been on a steady incline, as Coach Simon has said. Also, Simon, thank you for not wearing a vest for an interview. That's a good addition. Yeah. So it's good for him to have these big players coming back at this crucial moment of the season. Now, for Impala, one thing that I'm not sure how they'll handle it, because they used the chop tackle against KCB. Homeboys are very big forwards. Good luck using the chop tackles against Steve Otieno, Joshua Chisanga, and Polycarp, because they are very big ball carriers. So I think they might want to mix it up a bit. Use the chop once, tackle all the other. But it's very mouth-watering clash. Yeah.
I think the addition of those 3 boys is going to be massive for Homeboys, because Homeboys forwards, with the fluidity in how they play off the set pieces, has been the advantage. And those 3 represent the epitome of Homeboys rugby. I've worked with them in the past, and I think that addition is going to give Impala a lot of problems. Yeah.
And the saga with Chisanga missing out, I just want to ask, how does it work with rugby? Because I know with other sports disciplines, we have the likes of maybe volleyball, where a player can go play professionally for a team abroad, but once they're off season, they can still play for their parent club in the country.
Yes.
Does it work the same?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think how it works is you have to secure a release from your host union, like from your home union. Now, in this case, the Kenya Rugby Union. And I'm guessing that's what Chisanga's club did for Joshua to go and play the other side. Now, the vice versa, for him to come back and play for Homeboys, because if you look at the roster, he's still enlisted under his club. So technically speaking, he's not enlisted under the Homeboys roster.
Okay.
So if he was to play, teams can go ahead and complain you've played an unregistered player. So you see, and that's the reason why I think he was stopped from playing last weekend. So this is something that can be worked on. You can just secure his release.
Formalities.
Formalities.
It's a very simple thing.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Sometimes they just overlook these things. And now it's probably cost them the match last week. Because you've got to, when your club is informed that usually would come back to your club, your home club to play, then they write a release from the club to the rugby union, and that message is passed on to your home club. Reasons being, because of anti-doping laws, now they need to find you wherever you are.
Yes.
And if you're registered in one club and you're not there, the club is going to be fined for not providing a player who's playing in Kenya for another team. In case of injury, in case of any emergencies, that club is responsible now. So if he comes here and gets injured, and it is an injury that is wanting, then that club is liable. And that's why those clearances have got to be above board.
It's very important.
Yes,
they need to sort it out because he's a very important player for them.
Yes, he is.
And such a game, he can be the difference.
He could easily be.
Yeah, they need all the arsenal they can get.
Yeah. All right. Now, due to time, we like to really rush and take a look at the squad that was released today for the Shujaa team, heading to Las Vegas and Vancouver.
Yes.
Your reactions? I think we'll have the squad up on your screens right now.
Looking at that squad, immediately I noticed the exclusion of Michael Wanjala, who travelled previously. And I was trying to find out if it's a tactical change or if it's injury. One thing I know, it's not injury, so must have been a tactical change. Because Wanjala is one of the old heads, one of the players who played for the longest time. But maybe Pau is looking for something different, and that's why he's injected some of the new players. Herman Humwa has played before for the national team.
He's quite solid now.
Yeah, he's quite solid and he's quite fit. So that's a welcome inclusion to the national team. Now, Edmond Anya, unfortunately, the time I've seen him play was just for the 15s in the national team. I haven't watched him play sevens, so your guess is as good as mine as to what he has to offer going into Vegas.
Michael Ogevi is one that has played in the past. He's the youngest of the Emoni brothers.
Yes.
So we expect him to give a little bit of ball carrying options, a bit of skills as well. He's a little bit more grown now. My most interesting inclusion here is Brian Wahinya.
Brian.
This is an electric kid. He's very good with looking at spaces. He plays for Blackbird.
Did he feature this last weekend for the 15s? He did, yeah?
He did, yes. He's a very positive player. I think that will be a good inclusion for Coach Pau. I wish I could see his winger, who he plays with at the club as well. But of course, given the time limit that Coach Pau has to organize his team, he's not able to bring entirely new guys into the squad. But it's a pretty decent squad, given that he's got very little to choose from.
Exactly. I wanted to ask, with what he has at his disposal, in terms of picking, are you convinced this is a strong enough team to go for the next two legs?
I mean, if you look at it, it is a strong team. Because apart from Anya, the rest have actually played outside the country. And this is, I'm sure looking at the bulk of the squad that he has, there's a reason why he's included some players and there's a reason why he's omitted some. Yes. Because if you look at a player like Eliakim Kichoi, who plays for Mwamba, he's been excluded. Obviously, we know William Reeves had an injury that he picked in the last series. So definitely the inclusions, there's a criteria why they've been included. I'm just interested to see where he'll play Agevi, whether he'll play him in the forwards or he'll play him in the backs. Because like Benja said, he's become quite a big boy, so he can handle himself in the forwards.
Yes. Yeah. Now, in terms of the captain and vice captain, you feel they've done enough in terms of leadership?
Yeah, I think that leadership is sorted. Yeah,
sorted,
OJ is doing very, very well at the leadership helm. He's leading by example, and I like such leaders because then the players feed off his energy. Yeah.
All right, now we'll come and talk about, of course, where the team stands and all that in the standings next week, because now we'll be building up to that weekend for Las Vegas. Now, gentlemen, we've done another 50 minutes of try time.
Oh, that's
good. We're on a roll with the 50 minutes.
It's good time, good time.
I feel like we should just... In a short while, we'll just be doing an hour.
I think we spent 15 minutes analyzing Simon's vest.
That shouldn't be the case. It's good. He's a gentleman. So we're not going to get any backlash.
Yeah, all the best to you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for the fantastic analysis. We'll be back again here next Wednesday, same time, right? Until then, keep it sporty.